Good morning. I'm Tabitha Kassem, Executive Director of Governance, Technology and Transformation at Network Homes, and I'm a member of the Network Homes Executive Leadership Team. The Network Homes Board met on Tuesday, the 31st of May, on a hybrid basis, with the majority of the members being present in person at our offices in Wembley. I follow a number of my executive colleagues in providing this update, and so, as is now usual, I am here to update you on the key points and discussion items from the last board meeting for the benefit of our people, namely our residents and staff, but also any of our potential stakeholders. The meeting agenda was full with a number of the standing items, but I'd like to update you first on one of the key items considered, which took up a considerable part of the discussion, that being the impact of the cost of living on our residents. In November 2021, the board met to determine how rents would increase in April 2022. They agreed to increase all social and affordable rents by 4.1%, but also directed the executive to look for other ways, including the promotion of our charitable fund, to support tenants who are unable to afford the increase. As such, the executive were tasked with continuing to review the situation, returning with ongoing options for the board to consider to seek to support our residents, and at this last May meeting, there was a report presented which set out some of the options available. In this discussion, the board acknowledged how inflation has continued to rise, leading to the cost of living becoming very difficult for many to manage, and how Network Homes has to support those of our residents most severely impacted. The board had considerable sympathy for those who have no control over their energy arrangements, accepting Network's role in supporting those people to whom we supply energy, the link to our sustainability agenda, but also how we may not know who are those who are most in need of our help. The board therefore concluded that the charitable fund that currently exists for the benefit of our residents now must persist, and we must continue to take up and promote this opportunity to our residents. If needed, we may increase the fund to support those most in need. Means testing as to eligibility for the charitable fund must also continue so that we can ensure we are helping those most in need. The board also noted how the welfare advice team that exists within Network provides significant support to our residents, and that there may be increasing pressure on this team as more people are referred for support. It was therefore agreed that we should ensure that this team is supported to be able to help those most in need. Finally, the board noted that there may be other means available through which we might seek to provide further support to those in need, and asked us, the executive, to continue to review and determine options available. The executive will be considering this at our internal management meetings going forward, considering whether options such as the establishment of a dedicated charity or other third parties may be able to support our residents going forward, reporting back to the board to confirm what our findings are. Otherwise, the board noted Network's adoption of the recently newly published NHF 2022 Code of Conduct and welcomed the report and findings produced from our triennial independent governance review, which confirmed that Network Homes is compliant with the NHF 2020 Code of Governance. Our scheme of delegations and terms of reference was reviewed and approved changes were made following the recommendations of that governance review. At the meeting, and following a subsequent out-of-meeting email approval, the board also approved the appointment of Anita Dashwood to the position of Hertford and Out of London Resident Panel Chair, and Princess Amiga Gibbs to the position of London Resident Panel Chair. Both these roles also sit on the Customer Services Committee as by virtue of their Resident Panel Chair status. This ensures the voice of our residents is heard at our committee and within our decision-making governance arrangements. The board expressed their sincere thanks to Phil Lyons and Francis Hayden, the exiting resident panel chairs, for their 3 years of service in these roles, noting and thanking both also for their continuing commitment to Network Homes, as they have both confirmed they will continue to sit on their respective resident panels. Otherwise, the board received progress updates on various development projects at Merrick Place, Northwick Park, Orion Park and Premier Place, all of which had been considered at a recent dedicated board strategic meeting of the 20th of April. The board were updated on increases to insurance premiums also of various schemes. And the board was very sympathetic to the position this placed our leaseholders and shared owners in, who are now liable for the increase in those costs. The board was concerned at the complexity of the building safety remediation works and the time it might take to complete the remediation. The usual standing items were also considered, the respective committee chairs providing their updates on all matters approved at the last cycle of meetings. Specifically, upon the recommendation of the Finance Committee, the Board considered and unanimously approved and updated the business plan, which had been updated in preparation for the submission of the Financial Forecast Return, or the FFR, to the regulator as part of the June 2022 NROSH returns. This updated plan takes into account inflationary pressure and reflects a move in assumptions for as yet unidentified value for money savings, reducing them from 3 to 2 million to be assumed over 5 years. The board noted the considerable work that had been done by finance colleagues with the input of external consultants, and were assured of Network Home's financial strength to manage its existing commitments within available financial capacity and golden rules, and with a backdrop of considerable challenges in the near, medium and long term. This meeting also considered the financial year end reports, so the position as it was on the 31st of March, and the board noted the position reported at the financial year end on our business and value for money performance. The board noted the ongoing challenges as to our repairs service in regard to price inflation, along with material and contractor shortages, but commended the business on achieving our satisfaction target, particularly considering the challenging environment this financial year with COVID-19 and other external factors has placed on our performance. As such, the year end position was noted, and the Finance and Audit Risk Committee will be taking forward scrutiny of that in more detail at their forthcoming meetings before the financial statements return for consideration and hopefully approval by the board at its July meeting. I hope that review was helpful, providing you with a summary of the key discussion points. One of my colleagues will be providing you with the next update in respect to the board meeting, which will take place on the 19th of July. Many thanks.